Let's do record. So just get settled on your mat, get comfy, get grounded. Take a second just to notice where your body's at. Just pay attention to your body, what's going on inside. It might be nothing, it might be something. Notice what's going on in your heart. If there's any particular emotion, maybe it's just joy or calm or feeling settled. Begin Ujjayi breath. So breathing in through the nose, kind of like you're breathing in a surprise. And breathing out through your nose like you're fogging up a mirror. Feeling that space in the back of your throat. Using the breath to just warm up the body this way. And on your next breath, breathe in, your arms up to the sky. And exhale, twist to one side. Just warming up our spine. Breathe in here after you twist. Breathe out, and then breathe in and come back to the center. So in this round, we're just taking that extra breath when we twist. So breathe out, twist the other way. And take a breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, center. Do one more round on your own breath, whatever feels good with your breath, just really focusing on that Ujjayi breath. And let your hands fall to your lap when you get back to center. Just take some head circles. Inhale as your head comes up and around. And exhale as it goes down. Be really gentle if you have any neck problems, just syncing it with your breath and just feeling the movement in your neck. Whenever it feels right, just going the other way. When you've evened out, just coming back to center. And exhale, take your whole body and do some whole body circles. So just warming up that low back and your hips. Inhaling as you come up. And switching directions when it feels right. Coming back to center when you've evened yourself out. Come on over to all fours. So knees are under hips, hands are under our shoulders, making sure we feel really steady, fingers wide, so it helps you to kind of grip and really put the emphasis on what you need to as we move into some flows. But inhale, heart lifts, head lifts, cat. Exhale, round over through the shoulders, cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Inhale. Exhale. And come back to center. Widen your knees whenever you get back there and just slowly push back into a child's pose and land wherever you'd like to, wherever you need your hands. And just breathe into this. Staying with your Ujjayi breath if you can. And come back up to tabletop. Readjust, so knees are under hips. Hands are under shoulders. Get really stable. We're going to do a little bit of balancing just here in this position. So as I inhale, my right arm and my left leg extend. And exhale, bring them in like a crunch. And back to the floor. Yep. Beautiful. Just take 3 rounds of this on your own breath. And after 3, just come back down to the ground and switch sides. And inhale as you extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. 1 more, or 2 more, depending on how many you did on the other side. And come back down to the mat. And just take 1 more child's pose. Widen your knees and push back. And maybe even tent your fingers so that you're really feeling a stretch through back to your shoulders, into your lats. And back to tabletop. Tip your toes and use an imaginary string to float your tailbone up to the sky, downward dog. Walk your dog out, just waking everything up. I did not wear the right shirt for this. It's all right. And when it feels right, looking forward to the front of your mat and just getting up there however you want. You can hop, skip, float. You can walk your hands in and your feet in together, whatever feels right to you. And just come to stand at the top of the mat whenever you get there. If you're in forward fold, just hinge at the hips and come all the way up. Beautiful. And just hands to heart center or space of connection. And just breathe. And think about, what do you need today? Sometimes that's a really hard question. Sometimes that's a question we just don't know the answer to. And that's okay. But part of the journey is just turning our attention towards that question. What do I need? So even if an answer doesn't come up, just sit with it for just a couple of breaths. What do I need today? Here, or outside the class, the things I have planned. Just what do I need? And what's coming up for me is I need to be present. I need some presence. So just notice whatever comes up for you. And when it feels good, just let your hands drop back down to your sides. We'll get ready to do a little flow here. Make sure my shirt is not loving this today. That's okay. So check your feet and just make sure the outside edges are parallel. So your toes are going to kind of come in towards each other just a little bit, but making sure that the outside edges are the parts that are parallel to the outside of our mat. Really getting a good wide base, kind of move around left and right and front and back, and making sure you feel really stable. And then just working from your feet all the way to your head. We're going to work up making sure we feel that strength as we stop here in our pelvis. Just going to kind of imagining this lift and scoop in our pelvis. It's like activation. I'm not holding anything. I'm just having this sensation of a lift and activation in my pelvis. It's okay if you don't feel it right now, but kind of turn your mind's eye towards that in our practice. And then as we stop at the belly button, the sensation of my belly coming towards my spine. I'm not holding anything. I can still take a deep breath. It's just more of that visual, that sensation, and that intention of belly coming towards spine. And then working my way up. Might even let my arms open in a mountain pose. Those are the two bandhas we're gonna just pay attention to today. Just that kind of activation, that intention. Beautiful. Inhale, arms come all the way up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Belly meets thighs is the goal right now. Your hamstrings might be kind of tight. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hinge at the hips, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just one little half salutation to get us warm. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to ground, step back into plank or come down on your knees. If you're in plank, you can come down onto chaturanga if you want to. And inhale, upward facing dog, or go into cobra. Exhale, tip your toes, down dog. Yeah, just make any adjustments. If it doesn't feel right, if you feel your position's off, you can totally walk your feet in, like whatever you need to really feel that sensation of your tailbone just coming up to the sky. It's that imaginary rope that's taking all our weight. Inhale, look towards the top of the mat. Exhale, get back there however you'd like to get there into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hinge at the hips and come all the way up, grab the sun. And exhale, back to starting. Just take a second to check in. Notice if there's anything coming up for you. Don't try to analyze it or label it, just notice it. Beautiful. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the ground, step back into plank or come down onto your knees. Come down all the way to the ground or chaturanga. And inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. If cobra, just keep your elbows bent. Exhale, tip your toes. Let that string float you back up into downward facing dog. Make any adjustments you need. And take a couple breaths here. Inhale, look forward to the top of your mat. Exhale, come up however you want to get there into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hinge at the hips and come all the way up to standing. And exhale back to your starting point. And just take a second again. What's coming up for me? You notice anything? Just notice it. One last sunny. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground, step back into plank. Lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tip the toes, float back into down dog. Just settle here for a couple of breaths. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, get there however you want. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hinge at the hips, come all the way up, reach for the sky. And exhale, hands back to starting. Again, just notice for a second, but also just notice anything that feels active, it feels charged, maybe excited, maybe you feel your blood starting to flow or your breath is pumping. Just notice that. Feel it be in your body for a second. Wonderful. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, hands back to heart center. Just one half salutation to close it out. Stand in that space of connection. And go back to your original intention. You know, what do I need today? Just notice if anything different is coming up. Let's take a second to stay with it. Beautiful. Keep your right foot parallel and pointing forward. Take your left foot, step it back so it's perpendicular to that front foot. So imagine the heel of the front is bisecting the arch of the back. And just a little bit of a bend into that front leg into warrior two. And make any adjustments you need to make that feel really stable and comfortable. Windmill your arms up and gaze strongly over that front hand. Take a couple breaths here. Inhale your palm up, the front palm. Exhale, front arm comes up, back arm comes down, reverse warrior. And take a breath here. And inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, the front arm comes forward and rests on the front thigh. Back arm comes over, extended side angle. Take a breath here. And inhale back, warrior two. And straighten your front leg. Exhale, front arm comes down. So I'm reaching to that front ankle. And my other arm comes up, wide. Take a breath here. Just feel the openness. And exhale, other arm comes down, meets that down at the ankle. Just breathe here, really feeling it in your hamstring, your calf. And inhale, we walk towards the center. So I bring my upper body around, I turn that foot so both of them are pointing forward. And just come down into a wide-legged forward fold, however you'd like to be there. Hands on the ground, ragdolling your arms, whatever feels right to you. And take a couple breaths here. Maybe even move kind of dynamically through it, like you kind of like to pulse or move through this one. And whenever you're ready, begin to hinge at the hips on an inhale, coming up. Hands on your hips, open your chest up, gaze upward. And then walk your feet together. Coming to a standing point and just a space of connection, just checking in. Just tapping into your inner warrior. Again, some of that energy that feels more active. Just notice it and how it's flowing through your body. Beautiful. Now step out your left foot so it's pointing straight that way. Right foot steps out so it's perpendicular. A little bit of a bend in that front leg, coming into warrior two on this other side. Really make any adjustments you need to really feel stable. Arms come out. Gaze strong for a couple breaths. Inhale that front palm up. Exhale, reverse warrior. Front palm comes up. Yes. Just take a breath here. And inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, come forward, extended side angle. Take a breath here. And exhale back to warrior two. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale, straighten that front leg. Front arm comes down. Back arm comes up and open. Open up your heart. Take a breath here. Exhale, that hand comes down to meet the other. Breathe. Just feel that stretch in your hamstring. And exhale, walk your hands toward the center. Turn your foot so that both are pointing forward. And once again, just a forward fold, however it feels right to you. Maybe different than the last time. Take a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, hinge at the hips on an inhale. Come back up, hands on the hips. And just breathe, feel powerful for a second. And walk your feet together, however you want to get there. And just one more space of connection. Just tune into your body. Just notice what's going on. Be present for a second. Beautiful. Let's start to bring it down to the mat. So you can either come down to the mat, or if you're feeling saucy, you can take a vinyasa. So inhaling up and exhaling forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back into plank. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. And instead of taking a down dog, we're just gonna come on back down to the ground. And just feel the mat wherever you're at. Just notice what's going on. Maybe even, no matter where you're at, just taking a second to use a half smile. So this is not a fake smile. This is just sometimes giving our body a chance to just kind of bask in the glow of what we're doing. So it's just about slightly turning the corners of your mouth up, which apparently is enough signal to the brain that, like, wow, we're good. So just feel that for a second. Wonderful. So bring whichever, just pick a leg. I'm going to pick my right leg. I'm going to stretch my right leg out, and I'm going to bring my left leg in for seated tree. And even though we're on the ground, we're just going to take a second to really feel that left meets right, that balance, that synergy. So just grow tall and just be in your body for a second and sense balance. And then bring left hand. So if my left leg is bent, I'm going to take my left hand and use it to kickstand behind me. You can stay right here. If you don't want to bridge up, it's totally fine. But if you want to bridge up, bridge your hips up as you take that front arm back. Little baby wild thing. And exhale, come back down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale when you come up. Exhale whenever you want to come down. After that last one, just fold over the outstretched leg. So I'm just, even if it's just a little bit, if you're as tight as I am today, it might not be much, but you're just trying to feel that stretch in your hamstring. You might feel it in the opposite low back, depending on how you're situated. When you find what you want, the sensation you want, just let your head continue to fall over. So my body's not all the way over. It's exactly where it needs to be, but my head is just releasing. Just breathe. Two more breaths here. And inhale, hinge at the hips and come back up to seated. And switch legs. Again, just pausing for a second to really feel that sensation of balance as we sit here. Taking the hand that is associated with the bent leg, bringing it behind you to kickstand. Again, you could just stay right here, totally fine. Inhale, bridge up, and that other arm comes up and over. And exhale whenever you want to come down. Just do this 2 more times. And whenever you're done, just fold over that opposite leg. Again, just looking for that space where it's, okay, I'm right there, I'm feeling the stretch, and then just let the rest fold over. Two more breaths. Inhale, hinge at the hips, and come back up to seated. And this time, just put your feet together in peddler's pose, soles of our feet together. And you can totally just stay right here. If you want to bend just a little bit, again, hinging at the hips, just noticing that point where it's like, yep, right there's a stretch. And then just let your head hang over for a couple breaths. Inhale, hinge back up. And take just a second just to tune in. Notice if anything's come up. Notice what you're feeling. Notice what you need. And then come on to your seat, like preparing to come down to the ground. Don't come down just yet. Feet are flat on the floor, knees are bent. And we're going to slowly tip back and pick our feet up, just activating our core, activating our hip flexors. Hands come up or hold on to my knees, whatever feels right. And just breathe here for a couple of breaths. And exhale, just lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Just take a breath here. Just let yourself really be held by the ground. Notice what it feels like to be held. Just be present in your body for a few seconds. Marvelous. So staying on your back, feet are on the floor, knees bent. You might even scoot them a little closer to your seat if that feels good when you're doing bridge, because we're going to move into bridge next. And if you have a block, you can totally make this a restorative bridge, but today we're gonna kind of stick with dynamic if you feel like it, kind of in in theme with this flow. So inhale, I bridge my hips up, kind of coming up a little bit even on my shoulders, depending on how my body works. Yep, I can put my hands underneath and clasp hands. Just breathe here for a couple of breaths. And then let it down. See how that felt in your body. Move around a little bit if you need to. Now we're going to connect breath with movement. So we're going to use our arms to kind of connect with the breath and to help us count. So inhale, I bridge up for 4 as I rainbow my arms up and over my head. Inhale. And exhale, I bring it down for 4. Do it on your own breath. It's taking as many rounds as feel good to you today. If at any point you're feeling like you want to move back into restorative bridge, you can totally bring that bridge back up and clasp your hands underneath again. Just breathe. And whenever it feels right, just bring your knees into your chest and just roll around. Give your knees a nice hug. And feet can come back down to the ground whenever they're ready. Inhale that left leg up and over, cross it over your right thigh. And this might be enough sensation in your hips for you, but if you need more, you can gently press on that crossed over thigh, or you can grab the opposite hamstring and pull it in. The goal is to just really feel kind of a pulling, a tension releasing in our hip, but only go for as much sensation as you want today. Stay with this for about 10 breaths. And just come back down whenever you get to a good point. And take your right foot, stretch that leg up towards the sky, and then cross it over. And again, same deal. Just check and see what kind of sensation you need on this side. It could be different, it could be the same. Just find it. When you find it, stay with it for 10 breaths. And just release whenever you get there. And bring feet out to width of the mat. And actually, let's do this first. So put your feet back where they were. And pick up your hips, drop it over onto the left hip, just about an inch. So you're a little cockeyed. And then just let your knees continue to fall over into a twist. Arms can come out to a T. You can look up or you can look over that opposite side if that deepens a stretch for you. And just breathe. Really feeling that release in your spine, your low back, your shoulders, just the last remnants of whatever we're moving out today in this practice. Just a few more breaths. Inhale back to center. Straighten yourself out. And pick it up and bring it down on the right hip a little bit. And let those knees fall over to the right. And same thing, arms out to a T, but you can look up, you can look over to the opposite hand, whatever fits for you. But that sensation of just wringing out anything left in your body that needs to go. Just a few more breaths here. And inhale back to center. And straighten out again. And just take a moment before we move towards Shavasana. Oh yeah, let's do this first. So find either, you can stay here, just bring your feet up into the sky in a waterfall, or if you'd like to find a wall or a chair or anything that is going to support you, and just getting a little bit upside down. And if you're on a chair, your feet can be like this over the edge of the chair, it's fine. But if you have a wall, this is really, really yummy. So legs up a wall. Let your arms outstretch however far you need them to, and just be with your breath. That sensation of everything that pulls down at our feet, just running back towards our center. And the power of that is in our center is where our vagus nerve is, that supports our nervous system responses. It's where all of our major organs are that help to process the stuff going through and flush out impurities. It's where our emotional centers are in our subtle body. It's a space where everything kind of runs the show and helps support. So it's really powerful to let this flow back towards that center of the body. And stay with your breath. This is also a really good place to play with that sensation we talked about near the beginning of belly to spine. Not forcing it, not holding it, and still breathing and still relaxed, but just kind of imagining my belly and my spine meeting. It's kind of fluid. It doesn't stay there all the time. I might feel it more on my exhale, less on my inhale. Don't force anything, just kind of notice it. Stay with this for just a few more breaths. And safely and slowly come down from wherever you were at and make your way back over to your mat if you're not already there. And grab anything you might need for Shavasana on the way. If you need a pillow or a blanket or dim the lights or some lavender, whatever it is you need, just take a second to support yourself in that way. And then just take up some space, legs wide and arms wide. And this is just the space and time for you. If there's anything else that you feel like you're holding on to or need to release, just imagine it flowing away right now, leaving this environment, leaving your body. And let your eyes gently close. And on a big exhale, just sink into some stillness. Start to bring some awareness into your fingers and toes. Then you move your neck around a little bit. And take a deep breath in and out. Pick your favorite side to roll over onto. And just curl up for a moment. Whenever you're ready, just coming on up to seated. Be very slow and gentle with yourself. And just rest for just a second. Just let yourself just be. And inhale your arms up to the sky. And exhale, just slowly move your hands down to your heart center. Just let your head kind of softly bow. And just give yourself some gratitude. Because whether you ever answered the question, what do I need, or not, you showed up for an hour to just practice some inquiry, to try and seek the answer, to try and get some more information from your body and your soul. And that is just really, really precious. And the badass in me bows with deep, deep gratitude to the badass in you. We are one. Namaste.